Hey there, vacation dreamers. You've landed on Book Solid, the podcast where two travel advisors share insider tips, top destinations, bucket list activities, and everything you need to know to get the most out of your vacation. We'll cover what's included, what's not, and throw in plenty of real talk and laughs as we plan with confidence. Let's jump in.
Everyone, welcome back to Book Solid. Today, Brianna is going to share her latest trip. She just got off of the Utopia
Yep.
of the Seas um, just a few weeks ago, so it's fresh and ready to be talked about. And she's going to share about her trip, and I'm sure we'll get lots of tips along the way.
Yep. I'll just say it was so fun. It was crazy being on one of the biggest ships that exists today. There's already a ship that's even bigger, the Icon of the Seas, and they're about to release the Star of the Seas, which will be the biggest cruise ship. But even when we were docked at Nassau on day two, being side by side by the Disney Wish, some of the Carnival ships, a Norwegian ship, which was one of Norwegian's biggest ships, it was just crazy to see the size comparison, especially when you're walking side by each ship. Insane, insane,
I was going to say, how does it compare, like, to the Wish, like inside even?
insane. It even, and I know Disney Wish is still one of their bigger ships. It's almost double the size. It's so hard to fathom. It's literally like they say, they've even advertised it. It's like a little city on a boat, like on the water. It is insane.
That's what my husband always thinks about when he talks cruising. He's like, there's
Mhm.
everything on there. It's like a city. And I'm like, okay, but Disney is not the same. And
No.
we can do a comparison episode later. But so that's hard for me to fathom because I've never been on on a royal ship, but I've looked at them and researched them and gone through the training. So I'm like, it feels like a lot.
It is. It's a lot to learn, like even because my boyfriend accompanied me on this trip. It was a kind of like an agency trip to kind of really learn about the brand, learn about the ship specifically, learn about their private island, Perfect Day at CocoCay. And he kept asking me questions. And of course, I haven't been sailing Royal Caribbean as much, so I haven't been dedicating a lot of time to it. I should flip it and do that because it is a really great cruise line. There's so many different options, especially when you compare it to Disney. It's just a bigger cruise company. And I know Disney will get there. They have a lot of ships coming out again. That's a story for another day. But even he kept trying to ask me questions, and I'm like, I don't know all the answers. I'm still learning the brand and getting myself familiar with it. I mean, Royal Caribbean has over, I think it's like 30 ships or something. So
Mhm.
where it's Disney, whereas it's like eight ships.
Right, right. What was your favorite thing to do on the ship?
Ooh. Ah, I did think so. I can't remember how many ships it's on. It's on a lot of the newer ships. The dry slide, the Ultimate Abyss. That was super fun. Of course, I'm terrified of heights to an extent. Like, there's certain situations that I'm terrified of heights of. And you're on, like, when you finally get up to the platform, when you're about to get on one of the slides, it's on deck like 15 or 16, and you drop all the way down to either deck five or six. I can't remember off the top of my head. You drop quite a bit. Um, but it has a glass bottom. So once you get up to the platform to get on the slides, it's a glass bottom. So you just see straight ocean. And I'm like, get me on the slide. Get me on the slide. I need off. It was really fun though, because they give you this like little mat. And it kind of like folds out on both sides, to protect your arms just in case. And it kind of like folds over your feet. So if you have like your phone, your lanyard, anything you're holding, obviously you don't want to be holding a whole lot anyway, but you just kind of throw it in with your feet. And then when you get down to the bottom, you take all the things out. It's really nice. But yeah, I think that was my favorite thing.
What was your favorite food?
Oh, that's hard. Ooh,
Or
okay, no,
favorite
I like.
place to eat?
Of course, I'm really big on Mexican food. I've always loved Mexican food. It's called El Loco Fresh. and it's set up like a buffet style. One of the big things that Royal Caribbean has is like the little hand wash station. So anytime you go to a restaurant, quick service, they have the hand wash stations right there. Um, but I'm a sucker for Mexican food, so I think that was probably my favorite spot to eat. I think we ate it the day we went to Perfect Day, I think, or maybe it was Nassau. I can't remember. I'd have to look at my phone, but I think that was my favorite.
What, like, what kinds of foods Mexican were on there? Mexican foods were on there.
So you could build like your own, you can build anything like nachos, burritos, tacos. They had pre-made quesadillas, cheese and chicken, I think, because I grabbed chicken because I like chicken quesadillas. Um, just kind of like basic little stands that you can build your own. Like it wasn't pre-made or anything. You literally built it the way you wanted it.
How was your room?
So this is a double-edged sword because I come from Disney Cruise Line and being in a veranda stateroom. And this time we had an ocean view stateroom. I've never done an ocean view stateroom, so I already had that in my head that I'm used to a balcony or a veranda, as Disney likes to call it. I'm used to Disney, where you have the what's the word? The two ends of the bathroom where it's like the split bathrooms. That's where.
Yeah.
Royal Caribbean does not do that. At least on Utopia, again, I'm still learning the whole brand. I don't think that they do split bathrooms. And it is a very small bathroom between the shower. It's only a shower, which again, Disney has the bathtubs kind of situation. Again, sometimes some of the ships are different. It was just very small. In comparison, room size, extremely small. Even some of the veranda rooms, so small. There is a lot of storage, like you have under the bed to put stuff. They have like the cabinet space with the hangers. But I feel like when you compare Disney to Royal Caribbean, Disney takes the cake on it. I know it's a little more cheaper to go on Royal Caribbean, so I mean, give or take. But I did like on the Disney having a bigger stateroom. Again, I know you don't spend a whole lot of time in the room, but I mean, especially if you're a family, I could see it becoming a problem because it was just me and my boyfriend. Even then, we still had to like the space between the bed and like the wall to walk past for the rest of the room. You kind of have to get against a wall to, or just stay out of the way so one person can pass. I can imagine that's going to become a problem for families trying to just get ready for the day, kids that are just excited to run around and do all the things. It's just going to make it difficult getting ready.
I Our agency has another one coming up next year. They
Mhm.
put it out, and I did a peek at the rooms, and being also used to Disney, I looked at the rooms and I was like looking as the family to be able to go, and they only have the pull out couch. They don't have the pull down from the ceiling.
Mhm.
And for kids who again don't like to share a room, you can upgrade. They had rooms that had bunk beds
Mhm.
in the wall, like that were in the wall, like they were kind
Yeah.
of, I think, always there. But again, that's then at your higher price point. So these great prices that you Royal shares, which are great, don't get me wrong. When you look at then the different tiers of rooms and what you realistically need, that price goes up pretty quickly.
Yep.
Um, so then you're very much comparable to Disney,
Mhm.
I would say. By the time I got to a room that I wanted with the bunk beds, because my kids don't like sharing, and I was like, I'm going back on Disney.
Yeah.
I'll save my money and just do Disney. Very cool. How did you mentioned on our last that you got the soda package?
It was yeah, so they do three tiers of different like drink packages. Obviously, the most expensive is going to be the alcoholic package where you can get, alcoholic drinks, as the name would suggest. Then they have the refreshment package, which is like mocktails, coffee, other like specialty type drinks, just obviously no alcohol. And then you get like again, I didn't even think to grab it. They give you like a refillable like Coca-Cola thing that has like the branding of Royal Caribbean on it. And you can use that at any of the soda stations to get soda, and that's exactly what we did. And then they also have the soda package because this was like an agency thing and, learning about the brand. I ended up doing the refreshment package so I can kind of be like middle tier to see where everything falls. It was great. I think the only downside that I didn't really care for is they do have a Starbucks on board on deck five, which is fantastic because as someone who drinks coffee every single day, that was exciting to hear. However, I think if you have the drink package, it's included. But even though we had the refreshment package, which includes coffee, you had to pay out of pocket for the specific Starbucks booth. But if you went just a little bit down the pathway to the Cafe Promenade, they sell Starbucks, like there's Starbucks drinks. They're just not branded as Starbucks. Like you can see like the logos on all of their like the menu items and everything. It's included in the refreshment package. So my boyfriend accidentally, not knowing, because he just assumed it would work, he had to pay out of pocket, which came out of my pocket because my credit card was attached to our C passes, which is fine. It's not that big a deal. But he ended up having to be charged for his Frappuccino for the day.
And I think that that's important to note that
Mhm.
when working with a travel advisor, you're going to know those little ins and outs of what to expect
Mhm.
that don't go to the Starbucks unless you, is it included on the full beverage package?
I think so. That's what I
Okay.
was saying. I can't remember, but I think if you had the drink package, like the alcoholic drink package, I think it was included.
But if you don't, then take five more steps and walk
Mhm.
down to this one and then you'll be
Yes.
included.
Yeah.
So that's important. Like, unless, like, especially first timers, like,
Mhm.
I probably would have done the same thing.
Oh
I
yeah.
probably would have just gone, like, well, there's Starbucks, surely it counts, or it doesn't count at all on any of them, so I'm just going to pay um, instead of knowing that little extra tidbit.
Yeah, thankfully I had already been standing in the line for Starbucks because I had to we did a little seminar at sea, like we had a little training that morning on Nassau. Um, and of course it was taking forever as Starbucks does. Like it takes a while to make drinks. So I was like, I'm in a hurry. I don't want to be late for training. So I switched over to the Cafe Promenade, not realizing that literally an hour or two later, my boyfriend went to Starbucks to find out, oh yeah, you had to pay out of pocket. I was like, oop, sorry.
And it makes you wonder how, because those extra like back end costs that you don't realize, like, and it happens with any vacation. You got food, you got snacks, you pick up these little things along the way that, yes, you booked it for a really decent price, but then you're coming home with $500 of extra
Yeah, it does add up. I
coffee
think that's,
prices or whatever because you didn't know.
yeah. I
Uh,
think that's something a lot of people don't realize is yes, Disney Cruise Line can be it's pricey. It's in the premium category. I mean, there's a reason why. However, when you compare a lot of the things that they already add into the cost, when you go to Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Norwegian, whatever, the amount of add-ons that you have to think about is that's what's going to start setting it apart from Disney, where a lot of things are just included.
mhm, mhm. And I think it's important to compare and contrast that when you're
Mhm.
planning and thinking about it.
Hmm.
So that way you know, because I mean, it makes sure you're adding in whatever dining experiences you want or drink packages so that you know um, you're comparing apples to apples and not
For sure.
apples to oranges.
Exactly.
Is there, I assume, dining on board that you would need to pay for? Like Disney has Palo and the adult exclusive, but are there, I have heard, I'm not well versed, that not Universal, Royal has more table service or restaurants that you need to pay extra for and more, like, tell me more about that versus like what's included. Is
Yeah,
it
so
equal?
Yeah, when you compare Disney, I mean, there's only a couple specialty restaurants like Palo, for example. Royal Caribbean has a lot of different options. They have Chops Grill. And again, some of the ships are different, but a lot of them have the same standard restaurants like Giovanni's Italian, I can't ever say Uzumi or whatever, Hibachi. I said Chops Grill. I'm trying to think of some of the others. Those are the three main that come to mind. There's a I can't remember the name of it, but it's like a simulation that you're on a like at a train station and you ride the train. I wanted to do it so badly, but it is such a sought after reservation that it's impossible to get. Um, and again, those are paid out of pocket. Those are not included in the cost. However, they do have a like main dining service thing that you can do. The only thing when you compare again, when you compare Disney to Royal, at least with Disney, you're guaranteed three different rotational dining experiences. No matter how long your cruise is, you may like do the same, restaurant multiple times if you're on more than a 3 night. But Royal, you're stuck to the same dining room, the same table. You still have the same wait staff like you do with Disney, which is great because by the second night they kind of already know you. But you are stuck to that same restaurant. However, the menu does change. Some of the things that, they have a couple menu items that stay the same just because, people get very, like chicken, like very basic meals. I think that's one of the only differences. I mean, we went to the main dining each time and it was great. Like it was fine.
You didn't feel like you were missing out on
Mm-mm,
something else.
mm-mm.
Is it like Johnny Rockets is one of the other ones that is a paid? Is that one paid?
uh that's the hot dog stand, and I think that was just included in the cost. I think if you got like actually no, that's the like burgers and things.
Mhm.
I think because the like waiter was explaining it, I think for breakfast, if you get like little basic things, it's included. But if you stay for like dinner and lunch, it is an extra cost.
That's the that's the one that seems to stick out in my
Yeah,
brain because I feel like that's I mean, it feels simple to where you should just be able, and I think that's what's hard too is that I'm like, I want to just be able to walk in and eat the food and not have to worry about is this extra, is this like
mhm,
that's what a Disney World vacation is for.
exactly.
I know if I walk into a restaurant, I gotta pay.
Hmm.
Did you end up getting that internet package?
I did just because of what happened last time personally. Family issues. That's a story for another day. Everything's okay. But I did get it just for peace of mind. Um, just in case I had to. Plus, my parents were taking care of the dogs. So I just, in case something happened with the dogs, I wanted to make sure that they can contact me. For some reason, and I realized it wasn't a royal issue, but even a couple days leading up to the cruise, I was having issues with the app. And I was reaching out to the other agents and I'm like, guys, is anybody else having issues? It keeps logging me out of the app. I can't get back in. Come to find out it was the personal issue with one of the things that my school district provides to help protect our devices, which is fine. But it caused a lot of headache even leading up to the cruise, like day of the cruise. When I finally realized it was the app that the school district provides that was causing issues, but I did end up getting the Wi-Fi package.
Is the cost comparable to Disney? Do you know, just out of curiosity?
I think so because I ended up getting it for me and my boyfriend just, so he could have it too. I think it was pretty comparable.
The private island. Tell us about the private island.
Oh my God, it was amazing. So our representative for our agency took us on a tour of Perfect Day at CocoCay. It was a lot of walking. We did about 2 hours walking around the entire island. So there's that. Thankfully, we went in the morning, so it wasn't as hot, but it was still very hot. We got to tour all the different sections, the water park that is a added cost, which stinks, but makes sense because you can only have so many people, and when you have at least two ships. We had our ship, Utopia, and Oasis of the Seas, which is another really big ship. So you've got, give or take, 10,000 people on this island um trying to enjoy their time. So it makes sense that the water park was an added cost. We went to some of the adult only areas, the cabanas, where that's obviously an extra cost because again, there's only so many. Um, all the different areas. It was amazing. We ended up staying at it's the Ocean Lagoon area, that little it's kind of near the water park area, kind of towards the front. We just really liked that area. We got in the ocean. It was amazing. They had really good food. They had it kind of like set up like a buffet style, same kind of pretty much to Disney, where it's just a bunch of variety of food, burgers, fries, tacos, whatever. You can build your own salads, like pretty much anything you can think of, you'll find something to eat. And I thought it was honestly, I really liked it. Like I had no problems with it. But yeah, I love Perfect Day at CocoCay.
Did you feel that with three large ships that the island was crowded, busy?
Not too bad. Even so, I know this is an issue. I know, especially when you talk about Disney, trying to find a chair on like a pretty decent chair. Um, some of the front row obviously are taken. We had no problems trying to find a chair multiple times because we would get up, go eat, get up, kind of go check out other things. We had no problems getting a chair. And I will say, I know a lot of people talk about there's specific lounge chairs where the chairs have like those weird slits in it. The chairs that Royal Caribbean has, it's just like one giant piece of fabric. So you don't have to, I know a lot of people go there to like tan and stuff. So I think that's a really nice advantage to Royal Caribbean. You don't have to worry about those weird
Mhm.
tan lines that it can make all over your body and weird indents because of the way the chair is. I really like their chairs. Oh, I will say another thing that was very interesting to watch is so obviously when you're docked, no matter where it is, they have very specific sections that they want you to walk in just for your safety between all of the cables that are holding the ship together, all of the workers trying to get, things on the boat, off the boat, people that have like different accessible things like transport, like, trams that are going back and forth. They have specific areas that they want you to be in for your safety for a reason. And there was this guy, don't know what happened to him. He took it upon himself to walk specifically out of the area and make a big stink about it. Like extremely rude. Like, I don't know what side of the bed he slept on, but he was in the most angry mood I've ever seen. I was like, are you kidding me? Every time one of the workers would say, please get over, he's like, no, you can't make me. I'm gonna be like, excuse you? And it got to a point that, one of the ladies was blowing her whistle and she's like, you need to get over, please. And he's like, no, you can't make me. And so one of the other agents was, chit-chatting with them after, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna find out who he is, and he's probably gonna be banned because you can't ignore the safety. They're not doing it just to like make you mad that day or just get on your nerves or just, make you walk in a specific place just because. There's a reason. And he was not having it. He's like, "No, you can't make me." Which I mean, okay, fair. You do you. But there's the reason they do that. Like, why are you going to forfeit your like chances of ever sailing again just because you're just having a bad day? It's not worth it. It was I was just like we were walking to Perfect Day and he's just doing his own thing and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
I think you will find those people on any
Oh, for sure.
vacation, on any cruise line, and
For
it's
sure.
so unfortunate. So unfortunate for the workers, the crew members. It's their job is hard enough. They don't need that too.
For sure.
Tell us about the entertainment.
Oh, oh my God. Don't even. Oh my God. It was amazing. Again, I know I keep comparing Disney because I'm a Disney girl at heart. Like it's who I
That's
am.
all I know.
Literally, I was so skeptical. I was like, this is not going to be Disney. Like, this is not going to be Broadway. Like, this is just not going to live up to Disney expectations. Oh no, it did. Oh my God, it was amazing. I think we did every single show that we could watch. They had a water show. Best thing I've ever watched. I wanted to watch it a second time, but the day, like, so we watched it the second day and we were going to watch it on Perfect Day because we wanted to watch it again. they weren't running the show. And I was like, dang it. And I was gonna watch it a second time. Like it was that good. They have a bunch of the performers that they have like this little pool area and they do like a water show. They have professional divers diving into the little water. Oh my God. It was the coolest show I've ever seen in my entire life. Enough that I wanted to see it again. Plus, the music that they used was all 80s songs. So it was so fun. That was definitely my favorite. They had an ice show, like ice skating show, which we watched the first night. That was super fun. We went to two different like Broadway style shows or however you want to call it. Those are really good. One of them had like a drone show, like they incorporated drones into it, which was super fun. We also went to like an adult comedy one, which was pretty funny. Uh, hearing all of those jokes. I definitely think Royal Caribbean did entertainment very, very well. Like we got to meet the cruise director during our training, and he is just a really nice guy explaining all the things that he does as a cruise director, how they do all the entertainment. It was really fun to learn about that. But yeah, entertainment, A plus. A plus.
And do they have things like all day, or is it just mostly in the evening? 'Cause, like Disney tends to like bulk up their evenings,
Hmm.
um, and then just has a few activities during the day.
Yeah, it's mostly at night. Like they start roughly around like I think it's like 5 is sometimes when those first shows come out, or a little bit after dinner, because one of the first dining time is at 5 o'clock, which is what we had. And then we had about an hour once dinner was done to go to our shows for the night.
Yours was a 3-day cruise,
Mhm. 3 night.
3 night.
Yeah.
Was it enough?
No. No. I I go back and forth with what is the perfect, length of a sailing. I think if you're just truly like if you've cruised before, I think a 3 night is great. Especially if you're just wanting a quick weekend trip. Like I know people who live in Florida, like it's a thing. They'll get off of work on Friday or, get off of work Friday and go straight to the boat or whatever. But then Monday, when we get back to the dock, they're already dressed for work. They go straight to work. Like it's great. I don't think for first time cruisers, it's really a good idea to do just because you don't, and especially when you're on Utopia, literally one of the biggest ships. There is not enough time to get to everything. I think at least a 4 night, maybe a 5 night would be perfect.
I would agree. 3 night just feels so quick.
Yes.
Um, and unless, like you said, unless you do it often enough to where you're familiar with the ship, you're just looking for a weekend fun to do. Um, but I think ours was 5 nights. Our first one. I don't think I did a 7. I think I did a 5. And
Mm.
I would say that fifth day or fifth night or whatever, we were like done.
Yeah.
So 4 might be our happy place unless it's like a longer one, like those transatlantic ones to where you feel like you can
Yeah.
reach out. Or if you've done it before, like it's not your first
Exactly.
um you've done it before, so you don't feel like you have to fit everything in. I think maybe that was it. That by that fifth night, we were so tired because we were trying to get
Hmm.
everything in to where you can slow down. Um, we also had some rocky water, so we weren't feeling great by the end of it. But anything else? We got 7 minutes.
I will say so, again, Disney, at least if you do Port Canaveral, you can stay at a Disney resort and then pay to use their transfer, like bus service. And it was like that was great. Again, that's a story for another day. With Royal Caribbean, you can't do that. Like you can stay at a Disney resort, but you need to find other transportation to the port. And it's a good 45 minutes to an hour drive just to get to Port Canaveral. Um, so because of that, and because my boyfriend does like Disney, but he's not as gung ho as I am. So, to kind of meet in the middle, we actually stayed at one of the Hilton. It was the home to suites or whatever those are called. It was a Hilton hotel, literally 5 minutes from the port. I really loved it. I think it's a really great option if you don't want to stay at Disney or if you're not doing Disney, whatever. I think it is a really good option. The room that we had, we booked specifically a king room because we don't need the two standard beds. It was really nice because it had a full kitchen. The bathroom was really nice size. It was that split bathroom kind of style where it was the restroom and the shower both in the same spot,
Oh,
but at least you had the sink and everything else separated. So while my boyfriend was showering and everything, I could at least be at the vanity or whatever, getting ready for the day. It was very spacious. I think it was a really great option. We did end up using an Uber to get to the port just because it was still a lot of walking and we went in July. It's already hot.
mm-hmm.
So we weren't going to walk. Plus, we were at Terminal 1. Just know if you are at Port Canaveral, there are a lot of terminals. So make sure you know before, you're about to show up to the terminal, know where you're supposed to be. Usually Disney and Royal are in Terminal 1, but again, it just, you never know. So a lot of the times they'll kind of switch up contracts based off of, negotiations, whatever. Just be very vigilant of where you're supposed to be. But I did think staying very close to the port was a really great option. They also had the complimentary breakfast. It was pretty good. Given it was, the continental breakfast, usually they're kind of like give or take, like it's just, it's there. I thought it was pretty, pretty good actually. So, yeah.
Yeah, Fort Lauderdale was similar to where there was a lot of terminals and what's nice about taking an Uber, at least our Uber driver knew the process.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming one would not accept an Uber
Yes.
job if they didn't know the process for the port. Because I think Fort Lauderdale, they check all of our IDs, I think,
Wow.
um, or something similar. So, but our driver was fabulous and kind of let us know before we got there. Well, thank you for sharing your experience and letting me live vicariously through you. I still can't decide if Royal is going to be my thing because it feels very overwhelming to me.
It is, but I still think all of my little nitpicking, again, just to have things to talk about, it's not a bad cruise line. Like I know I kind of picked it apart because naturally that's what I'm supposed to do. I still had so much fun on the cruise. I would definitely do Utopia again. I'm definitely gonna say Royal Caribbean. It's just a matter of finding, the sailing that I want to go on. Me and my boyfriend, even at the airport when we were coming home, we were even talking about like another cruise next year if we can do it. And I don't know if we will. Um, but even, I still think it's a really great cruise line.
Do they have a placeholder option like Disney to where you get the discount to come back?
Yeah, I didn't put one down just because I still have my Disney Cruise Line that I still need to figure out. And I just didn't want to put down another one and then have to worry about two cruise lines.
Right.
The further I get into my business as a travel agent, I'm hoping to start cruising more. I gotta chill because if I had the option, I'd be cruising all the time. Because it's fun.
It is fun. It's definitely a different type of vacation
For sure.
compared to theme parks
Mhm.
or it's just a different type of vacation. So I highly recommend it. I was
Mhm.
skeptical too first before cruising, and now I'm like, that's all I want to do.
Yep.
Well, until next time, we will see you then.
Yep.
That's it for this episode, Vacation Dreamers. We hope you picked up some tips, ideas, and a little extra magic for your next adventure. If you enjoyed hanging out with us, be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can also find us on Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts for even more travel tips and updates. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep planning, and we'll see you real soon.